Welcome to the Traditional Bow Hunting and Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkoviak, and today I want to do a video on one of the best knives that have ever been made. It is the ultimate wilderness outdoorsman hunting / everyday carry, everything. It is the most versatile, well-used, well-rounded, cover everything, do everything, best attributes of everything you could ever imagine knife I've ever seen, and it's very affordable. It is the esee Azula knife, okay? When you buy it first, this is how it comes. This is right here in this form. You get basically the knife. You can get it in a million colors. They got all kinds of different colors, but this is the knife. And then this is the sheath that comes with it, so you can carry it as a neck knife by hanging it on here. It's got a clip so you can carry it on your side, whatever you want to do. The sheath itself is absolutely awesome. The sheath is great. I make my own Kydex knife cases, and I do a great job at them, and I do them for some of them, but honestly, this one here is pretty hard to beat. It's a really good sheath. As a matter of fact, on one of them that I've been carrying a lot of years, I actually take the same sheath, and I just grinded it down on my grinder to make it a little more compact and fit it in my pocket on this little bitty lanyard that goes in and it hangs upside down in my pocket like that. But that's how good this sheath is. So the system is absolutely flawless. The knife itself is it's 1095 carbon steel, which is amazing. The quality of 1095 is that it's very durable, very strong, very resistant to breaking, and it is very easy to sharpen, and it holds an edge if it's heat treated right, which these Rowan heat treats all Esee's knives, and they do a fantastic job, and it holds an edge very, very well. Better than most 1095 carbon knives I've seen out there. This knife is just incredible. Everything about it is absolutely awesome. The only downside to it is that if you leave it, it can get, it is carbon steel knife, so it can rust a little bit on you, which has never really been an issue for me. I use them a lot. I put patinas on them. I run them through the works. I do them a bunch of different ways, but when you buy it, this is how it actually comes. And as you can see, I like this knife so much, I have quite a few of them. And I have a couple more new ones. I got 2 more new ones in desert camo and black that I haven't even opened yet. But that's how that knife comes. Size-wise of it, it is a perfect size. It fits my hand perfectly. It's comfortable. My pinky can hook right in there and hold that down like that. If I'm working on animals, my finger can get right up in there and I can run that way. The size of this knife, it's perfect. The weight, it's lighter than any folding pocket knife that you would ever carry. Even with the sheath, it's incredibly lightweight. Like I said, the quality of it is absolutely top-notch. They are primered underneath this finish, this powder coating, almost like type finishes that's on it. So even if you were to wear through this finish, it's still protected by a real heavy-duty primer, so it may start to look a little beat up, but you never have to worry about it as far as getting through that primer. Very durable, just an incredible knife. Price-wise, you can get them for $50, and or you can go up depending on the options you want. They come from the factory, very, very good and sharp. I mean, they do a great job of sharpening this knife, and it's done well. Not a super highly polished edge, but a very good, wicked, sharp edge. Very easy to resharpen. I cannot rave about it enough. I carry mine, my everyday knife I use like this. I like it. It fits my hand good. I don't need scales on there. If you want scales on them, I have them. Like this is one that I have. I put scales on there. There's a million different kinds of scales too. These ones, simple, cheap scales. They give it a whole different feel and make it feel good and comfortable in your hand if you're doing something where you're using where you're going to be using a knife for a long time, few hours at a time. Those scales definitely come in kind of handy for it. They're cheap and easy to put on and take off. And here's another version. This is actually the first Azula that I had ever bought many, many years ago. I carry it in my backpack. This is the one that I use to field dress deer with and stuff like that. At least that's my intent. I probably field dressed 20, 25 deer with this knife and broken a few of them down in camp. It's a great knife, but it sits in my backpack. So as of, for the last few years, instead of actually even going to that, I just been using, the one that's in my pocket. This setup right here, this is in my pocket every single day, is this one here. Now, I actually removed the finish off of this one, and I removed the finish off of this one off the blade. I don't like that powder-coated finish on the blade part. So I remove it, and then I put a patina on there, which just kind of protects it, which I got a video on if you want to see how to do it, but I like them that way a lot. They're incredible knives, very durable, but this one here is in my pocket every single day. This case, it hooks right on there. I take this, I put it in the sheath, this loops right around my belt, and it hangs inside my pocket like this. When I need it, I just take my thumb, I reach around my pant right by my belt, hook that on there, and then it falls right into my hand. I pull it out, my knife is right there. So it's really sweet and easy. But this knife this setup like this is how I use it more so than ever. And even though I've had that green one in my pack for hunting, this one is always on my side in my pocket, and even when I'm hunting, it's on my side in my pocket. So this one is the one I usually just go to. Instead of digging in my pack to get that one out, I usually use this one for field dressing, for all my game stuff like that. This knife is actually taken 2 deer apart from completely, from finding them laying on the ground to boned out 100% and put in my pack and caped and everything done, all with this knife right here, and it's phenomenal. I love it. This one right here, this is actually the second Azula I had ever bought. I bought it right after I bought this one, and I carried this Azula for 8 years. You've seen it in some of the other videos. Recently, I kind of retired it because I actually had screwed something up and pitted it on there pretty good, trying a different type of a patina system, and it pitted it pretty bad, and I wasn't happy with it, so I retired it to my tackle box. And then I decided I'd pull it out and do something different with it and make it as a gift for my daughter. So I actually, using my belt sander, I refinished the whole entire knife 100%. I left it as a good coating, or almost not quite a mirror finish, but a good polished finish on there. I put a set of scales on there, and this is actually my daughter's hunting knife now. She loves this knife, and she takes it with her. That's her hunting knife. This is the knife she used to field dress her deer with as well too. So Azula is an absolutely incredible knife, my absolute favorite knife. The versatility of it for an ultra lightweight everyday carry knife with a big enough blade to do anything that you need to do, including self-defense stuff. This knife will work perfect for that. Remember, self-defense is not about stabbing, it's about cuts to immobilize, and this knife right here it's perfect setup for it. The design of this, I love this right here, especially when you're dealing with bloody hands. That keeps you from sliding forward up the blade. That locks your hand in there, gives you somewhere solid to be able to hold on to, so that you're not sliding forward on the blade, cutting your hand on a lot of knife designs. I like the simple open design of this so that I can clean it out real well. There's not a lot of big hole or little holes in there that I gotta get in there with a brush to get blood and fat and tallow and stuff like that out. The design of this knife for somebody in the woods is amazing. For hunters, it's amazing. The thickness of the blade is thick enough that you could actually use this very well for anything. I've batoned with them. It's pretty much an indestructible, high quality, do it all, easy to sharpen, amazing knife. I absolutely love it. And now for those of you that aren't a fan of 1095 because of the possibility of rusting, they also make it in a Damascus model as well too, and I don't believe they make the Azula in a 440 stainless. I know they do for the esee number 4, but they do get it uncoated. There's a billion different ways to get this knife, but if you're looking for a different kind of steel, I have not found another knife design that matches the absolute power of this simple design. The handle shape, the choil right here real well, little bit of very mild chimping on the back for a little bit of thumb control, the thickness and full tang of the blade back here, no goofy holes or messing around with stuff, the perfect shape of the blade. Everything about this knife is absolutely flawless in my opinion, perfect for everything. I've not found another knife out there that's exactly the same in a different steel, but I have found one that comes really, really close that I just bought not too long ago that I'm using now as my caping knife that I'm going to carry in my pack. Remember, I told you that this one was in my pack all the time, and then I had this one in my pocket all the time. Well, what I've done, kind of having a hankering for a brand new knife, I've actually pulled this one out of my pack. So that one I'm not carrying now. This one that I'm going to carry in my pack is one I'm going to use for processing animals, where I have to take them, where I got to backpack them out. Where I'm in the field, I'm skinning them, quartering them, boning them out, caping the head out, doing all this work, and then bringing the deer out. I wanted to try a S30V knife, but I want the same design. And I haven't found that for a long, long time. But the S30V, I think, will hold the edge just a titch longer. Even though it's harder to sharpen, it might make it where I don't have to, if I'm boning, caping, skinning, and quartering, and doing a whole entire deer from start to finish in the field, I may have to sharpen that up one more time, or I might have to grab that one to go and, just to make it quick and finish it. I can get through it all the way with this knife, but when you start getting to the tail end, especially after cutting a lot of heavy hide, you start to know that you're wearing this blade down and it's stalling out a little bit. It only takes a couple seconds to get it back to sharp, but I wanted something else in my pack other than this, and like I said, me being a knife guy and having literally hundreds of knives, I finally came across one I was looking at, and I thought, wow, that is pretty close to perfection, and it's a SV30 blade, and what it is it is this one right here. It's made by White River. White River knife and tool, and this is their caper model. It comes with the sheath, which is already perfect because it's exactly how I make them. As you can see here, it's exact. I would have probably cut this off a little bit more, but it's good enough and I like it. Very functional sheath, but as you can see by the design of this blade, they are very, very similar in shape and size. Now, blade-wise, if you line them up right there, the blades are about pretty close, not too far off. Handle's a little bit bigger on the White River, but still it's almost identical as far as the style of what this knife is, to the point where I had to have it. I absolutely had to have it. I love the Azula. This one I wanted to try out. Same thing, good deep finger choil right in there, so you got good control, comfortable. You can still work the blade. All the functionality of that Azula in a higher grade steel, which to some people matters. To me, I love 1095 steel for its simplicity and versatility. But this White River knife is an option if you're looking for a more modern steel, I guess you could say, in an S30V steel. This knife, the fit and finish on this with these G10 scales, you can get it in all kinds of micarta and different options. I like G10 a lot. And I like orange because that way I don't lose it. When I set it down on it, when I set this on top of that deer, I'm not losing it. That's why I bought it this way. But this knife is a very similar setup to that Azula, just on a more higher quality scale. If that higher quality scale or that more brittle, stiffer steel of what that SV30. It's a stronger steel as far as edge retention, but it is harder to sharpen. I'm excited about this knife. I like it. This one is not cheap. These you can get, the Azulas you can get for $40 all day long, up to $80 depending on scales or what you want to do with it. This one, the caper model, like this with the actual G10 scales on there, was $175 shipped. It's a more expensive knife, but again, you're paying for a very modern steel, very high quality steel, and I love the design of it. I like the sheath that came with it. I like everything about it. So if you're looking for something similar to an Azula, but in a higher quality steel, this White River knife and tool caper model may be good. Now, they make this in a skeleton version without the scales. Same exact knife, no scales, and you can get it. It's they're called their backpacker model, and I think it's $90 for that one, 90 to 100 depending on coatings and things like that. But this is a stainless. It's not going to stain on you. You don't have to take care of it like the carbons. It's basically like a stainless steel, long edge retention kind of a knife. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to replace this one. This knife will now ride in my backpack all the time, and when I kill a deer, I will use this knife to break that deer 100% down to just meat and game bags and in my pack and caped out and done. I'm hoping that knife will let me do an entire deer all at one time with that. So that's another option here too. But as you can see, very similar, same kind of setup, very similar to the Azula. But as I'm saying here, this style of knife and this size of knife, the handle design, everything about it and the configurations it's offered, in my opinion, makes this the best, most versatile knife that an outdoorsman can have. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other knives I love too, and when I'm in the woods, depending on what I'm doing, I have other knives. If I'm scouting, I'm usually carrying my esee number 4. If I'm in camp, I got an esee number 4, and I got a Becker BK2 for doing kindling and stuff like that. I love knives. I got a lot of knives for a lot of things. But as a hunter and an outdoorsman, this knife here will always be in my pocket. This one right now this one has been for 9 years before I changed it up to the configuration it is now. But when this one looked like that, it was in my pocket for 9 years. I love the design. This is the best knife that's ever been produced, in my honest to God opinion. And if you're looking for something that's going to be a little more heirloom quality, little higher grade steel, little more money, this White River knife and tool caper, or the more affordable backpacker or skeletonized model, absolutely incredible. Kind of just goes to show you, but I cannot rave enough about the esee Azula knives, or this style of a knife. More people need to follow it. There's so many gimmicky, cheesy, ridiculously stupid blade designs out there that it's absolutely overwhelming with the amount of just pure dumb, unthought out, ridiculous blade designs are insane, the amount that's available. This design, absolutely flawless in every single way, pure functionality. It does what it's supposed to do. It's comfortable, usable, it's safe, it's friendly, it's everything about it is absolutely perfect. I cannot rave enough about it. So I thought I'd bring it out and show them to you, but the esee Azula, or that style knife, very, very hard to beat for an outdoorsman. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more stuff soon. We'll talk to you later. Bye.